Knit the Knight. Knit the knight could give no fright, since he was made of string. Other knights were fearsome sights, but Knit no fear could wring. All the others were big brothers, saving those in need. Their swords could scare a hare or bear, but Knit could only plead. When these strong men would storm a den, Knit felt like a boy. They'd frighten rats or rescue cats, but Knit was a cat's toy. But on the day they were away, the townfolk needed help. Knit the Knight woke in the night because he heard a yelp. He had no lord or shield or sword, and so he grabbed his twig. There were no foes it could dispose, for it was just a sprig. When Knit went out, he heard a shout from someone down the street. He had to stop and scratch his mop, because there was a bleat. A man and goat were at a coat, danger was a-brewing. The man did pull and pull the wool, which the goat was chewing. Knit hurried on, his twig was drawn into the fearsome fray. He pleaded so, "Beast, please go," but it would only bray. "Please help my sleeve," the man did grieve, "I need the beast to scram. This coat was knit just bit by my own very gram. And if some harm should come the arm, it would be a vest. My limbs are frail and very pale, this is not a jest. There would be tuts, I'd be the butts of every single joke. You must save me from the mockery of all who ever spoke." So Knit raised high his twig to sky and charged the furry brute. It paid no mind to a knight twined, its eyes were on the suit. With a prayer he seized the hare, and up he tried to scale. With arms of thread and old bedspread he climbed slow as a snail. He was knee-high when came the cry, and with a sudden yank, the sleeve was freed from the man's tweed, his coat was now a tank. The jerk did throw Knit to the snow, and all he saw was white. He laid face down with a big frown. Where were the other knights? But then he heard something absurd. The munching at once ceased. The sleeve sure sighed as the beast spied a proper goatish feast. It turned to Knit lickety-split, and so began to drawl, "I've eaten doughs and odd gizmos, but never a night doll. You do look better than that sweater that of old I chewed. I must confess the sheep named Bess and I sure had a feud. It's only fair that folk should wear a measure of cashmere, but Bess would bleat for shirt or sheet, only wool they'll shear. So what is true, my future chew? Are you made of wool? You look yummy, and of 4 tummies none of mine are full." "Of wool I am, O Mrs. Ma'am." And so the goat charged Knit, but also string and many things, including one old mitt. "I'm stuffed with fur and one old burr they tucked in at the start. At first the fake seemed a mistake, but now it is my heart." Then Mrs. Man, that goatly Graham, paused before her food. "Though I've eaten boots and suits, to eat you would be rude." That very second the man beckoned to a line of knights, who had returned quite churned and burned after a dragon fight. The first knight grumbled, but he stumbled over to Mrs. Ma'am. He picked her up with no backup, just like she was a lamb. "Back to your pen with sheep and hen," his sooty mustache bounced. "I'll tell old Bess her wool looks stressed," Mrs. Ma'am pronounced. Just then did Steve pick up his sleeve and jiggle his jacket. "Did not you see these two should be, one if you could patch it?" As knights walked over they plucked clovers looking for some luck. With swords and spears they had no peers, but with needles they stung. They crowded round and quickly found that needlework could hurt. First one was jabbed, then 2 more stabbed, and lastly down went Bert. Soon all their thumbs were swollen plums, and they cried for their mums. Then up jumped Knit, who never quit, and he began to hum. He did not gloat, he patched the coat, as good as Stevie's gram. Yet it now lacked some string in fact, so Knit used his own ham. The knights whispered they never heard, they were completely stumped. A hero never was there ever, saving folks with rumps. Then Steve was pleased, and Knit he seized, hugging the Knit Knight. "You've saved my hide and pride besides, and now I say good night." The end.